Chelsea against Liverpool in the UEFA Super Cup. As N'Golo Kante picked up yet another injury, but Christian Pulisic simply has to start when the Europa League champions face the Champions League winners in what seems like an almost impossible task for the Blues to win their first trophy under Frank Lampard. Hello there guys, and welcome back to Blues TV for my second preview on this channel, for my preview ahead of the Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup between Chelsea and Liverpool. And to be honest, I'm not looking forward to this one. I'm really nervous. I mean, especially after the game against Man United. Of course, that didn't exactly go well, did it now? But even before that, I was really nervous ahead of this game because Liverpool are just a really good team. And, you know, we lost our best player, by far our best player in Eden Hazard. We've got a new young manager. We're trying to, play the youth now. And it's risky. We have a lot of injuries as well to a lot of big players. Some news on injuries as well today, which really wasn't good. But of course, if you are new here, please do subscribe to this channel. That would be massively appreciated. 2 Blues TV previews ahead of every single game, reviews of every single game, fan cams, vlogs, all sorts of content, and other midweek content as well. So, if you do fancy that, please do subscribe. And of course, also press the notification bell so you are notified whenever we do upload a video. And also, if you wouldn't mind, please drop a like on this video. That would be great. Like I say, I'm nervous ahead of this game. And to be honest, I put out a tweet, I put out a poll on Twitter to ask, my followers anyway, what they thought ahead of the game. And, the results were not the way I expected. People don't seem to be as nervous as I am. Obviously, it is a one-off game and we can win, but I'm just not that confident. And people seem a little bit more confident than I seem to be, at least when I last checked the poll. Also, if you want to, follow me over on Twitter, go for it. Last1507 over there. The link to it is down in the description below. But now, let's just get into the preview and start it off by speaking about our opposition, Liverpool. And, like I say, Liverpool are pretty damn good. I think we all know that, even though it pains me a little bit to say it. And even though they kind of decided to serve our transfer ban with us, only signing Adrian, the goalkeeper from West Ham, to replace their departing Simon Mignolet, and obviously a youngster from Fulham as well. Even though they didn't sign any more than that, their squad, and in particular their starting 11, is just ridiculously good. Even though, actually, their pre-season didn't actually go all that well. I mean, they played 7 games, and only won 3 of them, which, isn't that good, especially if you're, Champions League winner and all of that. I know pre-season doesn't matter, but it just looks a bit weird when you look through their results, I guess, through pre-season. And 2 of those wins especially came against Tranmere Rovers and Bradford, not exactly the biggest of teams. While they lost to Dortmund, they lost to Sevilla, and they also were battered 3-0 by Napoli before then beating Lyon in their last preparation game. Then they, of course, as they finished second in the league and Man City obviously won the domestic treble, Liverpool did face Man City in the Community Shield, which ended 1-1 after 90 minutes, and then Man City won that on penalties. And that was a really interesting game, though. A game of 2 halves, Man City on top in the first one, Liverpool on top in the second half. But, arguably, Liverpool actually had the better and the bigger chances throughout that game in total. But, obviously, Wijnaldum missed a penalty in the penalty shootout and they lost it. But it still showed that even though their pre-season results weren't that great, they're still very much up there. It's not like both Man City and Liverpool got any worse, over pre-season. Definitely not. Look at their first Premier League games and, I have to touch on it. In their first Premier League game, which was last Friday, but we played on Sunday. So they have 2 full days, more recovery than we do, which is great as we're already by far, the underdog here. They beat Norwich 4-1 on Friday, which, it looks like a huge result. And even though some Liverpool fans might strongly disagree with me here, when I watched that game, it didn't feel like a 4-1 game at all. Like, that could have been a lot closer. Yes, Liverpool, of course, they deserve to win. But 4-1 looks a lot harsher on Norwich than it should have been. To me, Norwich easily could have scored a couple more goals than they did. And Liverpool's first goal was really lucky. It was an own goal by Norwich. So it was unlucky for Norwich, lucky for Liverpool. But Liverpool just were clinical. Like, even though the game was pretty tight, to still win 4-1, I guess that is a different kind of quality. And that's kind of what I'm a little bit worried about, because that's kind of what happened to us against Man United. We were arguably the better team, especially for the first hour. We were certainly the better team, and we lost 4-0. So, if Liverpool do the same to us, I'm slightly worried, I have to say. On Liverpool's tactics, you have to say that Jurgen Klopp pretty much always has his team line up in a 4-3-3 formation, playing a very aggressive style of football. I think we all know that, with a lot of focus on their pressing game and just especially quick transition once possession has been regained. And, that's just what they're really good at. And again, it is kind of the thing that seems to be our biggest problem on Sunday, which again is a reason why I'm pretty worried about the game. I like to be optimistic. I would love to be more optimistic out of tomorrow's game, but I just don't find many reasons to be more optimistic. It doesn't mean that I don't believe we can win, but I just don't see it happening. The only other positives, I guess, that we have, going our way is that the keeper, Alisson Becker, is out injured after he had to come off with a calf injury against Norwich. Plus, the self-proclaimed best centre-back in the world, Dejan Lovren, didn't travel to Istanbul due to illness. Whether he would have started either way, we don't know, but, he's out anyway. And lineup-wise, I mean, of course, it depends on how much rotation Klopp will do, which, we just have no idea how much of that will be done. The only real questions are whether Sadio Mane, who didn't start on the weekend, and James Milner, who didn't start on the weekend, will start this time round. That's, I guess, the only big difference. I do expect Salah, Firmino, and all of those kind of players, Virgil van Dijk, of course, all to start because, everyone wants to win the UEFA Super Cup. If you're in it, you want to win it. It's just as simple as that. And to put it simply, to put it at the end of talking about Liverpool, Liverpool are just a really good team in pretty much everything, and that is our problem. Yes, missing Alisson is a little bit of a boost for us, but it's still going to be very, very difficult. And it's, if we manage to win this, fair play, Lambs, fair play to the players, because it's going to be a tricky one. But now, getting into Frank Lampard's pre-match press conference, which literally just took place as, before I'm recording this, and kind of a couple of big pieces of news came out, because the first big thing that Lampard did speak about is that N'Golo Kante picked up yet another injury in that short run around he had against Manchester United on Sunday when he came on with like 20 minutes or 25 minutes to go. He picked up yet another injury, which is still yet to be assessed properly and just assessed closer. And Lampard said that he will have to make the decision with the player tonight whether there's much point in playing him or even putting him on the bench. He didn't exactly specify what is yet to be decided, whether he will be on the bench or whether he will start or whatever. But me personally, I just can't see him starting after those things. And he also said, made it clear again, because he was asked about it by a journalist, that he picks his team completely on merit. And, he doesn't make a difference, between age and that kind of thing. And specifically, picked out Mason Mount as saying, he really deserves this chance on merit. The only thing I question is, if the team is picked on merit, how on earth did Pedro get anywhere near that starting 11 against United after that pre-season, but Christian Pulisic didn't even start? Like that, sorry Lambs, but that makes no sense. I mean, of course you could have seen pre-season differently to me, but to me, except his wonder goal against Salzburg, Pedro was absolutely shocking throughout the entirety of pre-season, and he was just as shocking, if not even worse, against Man United. So that is obviously a little bit of a problem. The Boston also stated that he really liked how aggressive we were off the ball against Man United, but also said that we have to be a little bit adaptable and be aware of our opponent's strengths, I guess, meaning that we might, take subtle changes to our, approach and tactics, against Liverpool. It will be interesting to see what exactly that means. And then on other team news, as the last thing that Lampard did speak about, he did say that both Willian and Antonio Rudiger are with the team in Istanbul, but he did say that both of the players are over their injuries in a sense, but obviously missed basically the entirety of pre-season. Willian being slightly closer to full fitness, it seems. But he, Lampard did say that such a high-intensity game like tomorrow is not the ideal game to play kind of their first game after being out for a long while. So, meaning that they will both be on the bench. I mean, Lampard said all of that on Willian, and then at the end just added similarly for Rudiger. So, that's how I take it. That's why I assume both of them will be on the bench. But he specifically said it for Willian. But now, getting into Chelsea. Talking about Chelsea, talking about tactics and the lineup, because there is a lot to talk about for me. I mean, first of all, I do hope that the United game didn't get into the players' heads, because, they just need to go out there and they just need to believe in themselves. They need to believe in the system. They need to believe in the process, because otherwise, playing Liverpool, we might as well not turn up if the United game got into our heads. And I really hope that they're not going to be out there literally shitting themselves. A bit like Zuma seemed to be after his early mistake in the game when he gave the ball to Martial, from which thankfully Martial didn't score. Zuma just seemed so scared and overwhelmed with the whole situation from that point onward. So, I just hope that it's not the entire team like that tomorrow, because that would obviously be an issue. And I already said it in my review after the game, I really did have a problem with Christian Pulisic not starting against United. And in hindsight, after the game, I had even more of a problem with that. I already had it when I saw the lineup. But in hindsight, after the game, it was even more silly. I think it would have created a lot more clear-cut chances with him in the first half, because we had spaces to attack. And bar him, we don't really have anyone that's not injured, that's really quick and good in 1v1 situations. And I think that would have helped us a lot on Sunday. So Pulisic has to start tomorrow. There's no questions about it. There's no easing him in. He has to start tomorrow. Please, Lambs, start him. It's ridiculous. Other than that, formation-wise, tactics-wise, lineup-wise, I would still personally prefer a 4-3-3 over a 4-2-3-1, especially against Liverpool's midfield three, because I think we're going to struggle a little bit against that. I say a little bit. I think we're going to struggle quite a bit with a two-man midfield, especially with N'Golo Kante not fit. But I don't see, Lampard making that change, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. But other than that, with Rudiger and Willian both not being fit to start, to be honest, they wouldn't even make that many changes, you know, to the team that started against United, as silly as that may sound to you. Of course, you know, Kepa will still be in goal. Azpilicueta, as much as he isn't quite good enough anymore at right back, I'd still rather him than Zappacosta. So Azpilicueta has to start. Christensen has to stay in the side. For me, he did okay against United. And Zuma, you know, he needs another game. Rudiger isn't ready to play it, and I just wouldn't play Tomori. I think this is a bit too big for Tomori quite yet. And Zuma, like, give him another game. He needs to get over the United game, because get over it. You need to get over it as quickly as possible, and hopefully you can have a much better performance tomorrow. And of course, Emerson has to start at left back. If it's down to me, again, we just don't know if Lampard will do any rotation. Will it be Alonso out of nowhere? Will Zappacosta start over Aspi because of rotation? You know, will we make these changes? I don't know, but on merit and on performance, and, you know, it's very early in the season. They should all be fit enough to play if they weren't injured and stuff. So Emerson, in my opinion, has to stay in the side as the left back. And then coming to the midfield too, the double pivot, I guess. Obviously, Kante picked up that other injury. With the way Lampard spoke about it, I just very, very much doubt that he'll start. So as much as that will very likely be a problem for us again, like it was against United in the second half, we'll just have to start Kovacic and Jorginho again. I mean, what other options do we have? I mean, we're not going to start Bakayoko, even though he's still around. So, like, what else are we going to do? It has to be that, and we're not going to drop Barkley into the double pivot. We're not going to drop Mount in there. And like I say, I doubt that we're going to go to a 4-3-3 or generally a different formation to the 4-2-3-1. It would be interesting, though, say a 4-4-2 diamond or something. It would be interesting, but I just don't see it happening. And then, like I said, Pulisic has to start. He has to start on the left. Mason Mount, in my opinion, deserves to start again. The question just is it a right wing? Will Mason Mount start on the right, or will he start as the number 10? Because, you know, as Lem said, with Willian, he will start on the bench, so he's not in there. The last position behind the striker is between Barkley and Pedro. Now, if it is Barkley, I would personally try out Mount on the wing rather than Barkley, just out of fairness as well, because Barkley had a really good preseason in the number 10, never on the wing. So why would we expect him to play all that well when he played on the wing against United? So, you know, also I think that Mason Mount is more capable of performing very well out wide than Ross Barkley is. So if it's going to be those two, I would rather Mount out wide. But we'll have to wait and see what Lampard does there. Because Pedro, he just shouldn't start. Like, he was so bad against Man United to me, even though some people for some reason disagree with that. But he was just so bad. He just doesn't deserve to start. I'm sorry. Of course, it could be a little bit like Zuma. You know, he had a really poor game on Sunday and he could be a lot better tomorrow. But it was just so bad. And we have other options in Pulisic. And okay, maybe it would be better to start him again over Barkley than having Barkley on the wing again or Mount on the wing. Maybe so. But Pedro was just so bad to me, he just shouldn't start. But, you know, if it is him, I hope that he starts over Barkley rather than Mason Mount, if I'm going to be totally honest. And then the striker. Now, personally, I just wouldn't start Giroud. I just don't want to. I just wouldn't. And he wouldn't even win any headers, you know, and hold that many balls up against Virgil van Dijk. Like, let's be honest, it wouldn't be that much of a difference. Like, he wouldn't win anything. So what difference does it make to playing Tammy Abraham? And as Michy Batshuayi wasn't even on the bench at Old Trafford, I mean, I doubt these, I don't know, we're going to start tomorrow. That would be surprising to me. So I guess just stick to what we've been craving for. Just stick to playing those youth players. Stick to playing those young players and stick to the process. You know, we all knew that this season was going to be difficult. And after one game, playing the young striker, dropping him again, or not dropping him, but changing him out for someone else, I just don't see the point. Like, I just don't see the point. Try him. Like, he wasn't great on Sunday. He wasn't great, but he wasn't awful either. And also, he didn't get a lot of service, let's be honest. And he hit the post. Like, if that goes in early on, the whole game is very, very different, you know, and he might be the hero. You know, the margin between being hero and being zero in football are very, very small. If he scores that, we might win it and he might be the hero. And now people are talking about him that he shouldn't play. But, you know, that is my lineup. Whether Lampard will go with that, to be honest, I have absolutely no clue. To be honest, it will just take me a few more weeks to really understand him, to really start to be able to predict what he's going to do. Tactics-wise, now, if we had better defenders and I would trust them, then I'd say try to shithouse your way to that trophy, because that first trophy under Lampard would be big tomorrow. But being as defensively poor as we are at the moment, with obviously having lost David Luiz, N'Golo Kante not being fit, I just don't see us being capable of doing that. And as we've seen last season, we can survive Liverpool playing the way we want to play. Obviously, that was with Hazard and that was with Sarri, but we should have beaten them at the bridge. You know, we should have been 2-0 up by the time Sarri scored that scream of an equaliser, and we beat them in the League Cup at Anfield. So we can beat them playing attacking football. It's not like we were, you know, parking the bus or anything in that game. Do we have that team anymore right now? Maybe not. Obviously, Hazard is gone, and it's, you know, Lampard is not the exact same as Sarri, and Kante isn't fit. But I just don't see us getting anything from it if we try to park the bus. I just don't see that happening. And like I say, we just have to trust the process a little bit. The first hour against United was really good. Some good attacking play, some good pressing. And we do have players that are comfortable in possession, even though Liverpool will press us. You know, we have players that are good at that, even under, you know, a lot of pressure, which Liverpool will put us under. Just not all the players, which is a little bit of the problem. David Luiz not being there is a problem with, you know, being pressed. You know, Zuma and also Aspie, they're just not that good in, you know, in that. But our midfield and our attacking players, they are really good at that. Christensen is decent at it. Emerson is great at it. If you know me, you'll know that, in my opinion, we have to take that risk, at least until we go like 2 or 3-0 down, if it ever gets that far. But to me, we're not Burnley. We shouldn't go into a game hoping for to get something out of it. And yes, I know that's kind of how we won the Champions League in Munich. But, you know, we don't have those players anymore. You know, we don't have those leaders anymore that we can do those things with. So, to me, if we're going to be on this new path that we started with Sarri and that Lampard seems to be trying, you know, to carry on, then we need to actually do that. You know, we need to actually properly do that and go for it. You know, like I said, we kind of proved it last season that that's how you can do something against Liverpool. I'm sure they improved since then, but, you know, it's, in my opinion, still our best chance. You know, our best chance. I mean, if we win, incredible, absolutely incredible. But if we don't win the UEFA Super Cup, I won't exactly be very sad. That's why I said for the last preview ahead of the United game, prioritise that. Prioritise the league over this game now. I mean, it's, you know, Kante got injured anyway. Willian and Rudiger aren't starting either way. So it seems to have not really made a difference. But, you know, that's just me. And also it will be interesting to see, like I said earlier, you know, what exactly those subtle changes to our approach that Lampard mentioned, what exactly those will be. Will we just press a little bit deeper? Will we just be generally a little bit more cautious? We'll just have to wait and see. But generally, do I think we're going to win? Absolutely not. To be honest, absolutely not. Especially without Kante, I just don't think so. I have to be honest about it. And I don't see much point in giving a prediction because, you know, I'm just a bit scared about conceding a lot of goals again and not scoring any. So, you know, that's just going to be it from me, to be honest. I don't really have much more to say than that. Let's hope we win. I don't think we'll win. It's going to be one of my most pessimistic previews of the season. I also just had storage issues and saving issues with this video file. That was an absolute mare I just had. So if you did enjoy this preview, please drop a like. That would be massively appreciated. Also subscribe to Blues TV for all sorts of Chelsea content. Like I say, previews and reviews of every single game, fan cams, vlogs, all sorts of midweek content as well. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So if you're up for that, please do subscribe. And of course, also click the notification bell button and also choose to be notified about all uploads so you get a notification whenever we do upload a video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.